right now on For the Record.
It might be the biggest thing that we do all year.
We are just days away from the start of the 2026 Girl Scout cookie season.
We want to get the word out. We want girls to be ready and be excited.
I speak with some local scouts and learn that this isn't just about sales, this is about sisterhood.
They're some of my best friends, and I never would have met them without Girl Scouts.
For the Record starts now. Welcome to For the Record. I'm Michelle Wright, and get your taste buds ready because in just a matter of days on January 6th, Girl Scout cookie season kicks off with girls beginning to take orders for cookies. In this half hour, I speak with local Girl Scouts, their leaders, and more about just how meaningful this season is for these young women in their scouting journey. But I want to begin by speaking with a representative for Girl Scouts of Western Pennsylvania to explain more about Girl Scout cookie season. We want to welcome Nina Beach with the Girl Scouts, and you have a big job, PR, marketing, making sure the word gets out. Now's an important time of year too because cookie season starts. Talk about what all goes into planning and coordinating all of that.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you so much for having us. We're all really excited to get to talk about Girl Scouts today. It's our favorite thing. And cookie season for Girl Scouts all across America, but of course here in Western Pennsylvania is a huge thing. It's one of the biggest it might be the biggest thing that we do all year. And the work we put in during cookie season does it influences the rest of the year for not only us as the Girl Scouts Council, but the Girl Scouts themselves. So there's a lot of preparing girls are right now, they're figuring out how they want to market selling their cookies. They're figuring out what they want to do, how many cookies they need. All of those things are such important factors. And girls start a lot of the time in the fall if they're new Girl Scouts or they've been doing it all year. And this is when they really get to put their selling skills to practice in the things that they've learned. So this is a big time of year for us to be preparing for cookie season. We want to get the word out. We want girls to be ready and be excited. This is also a really big time to just get everyone excited. It's very exciting for us. It's very exciting for the girls.
Well, I have ordered many, many, many boxes of Girl Scouts myself. And it's much more, though, about the quality of the cookie that we look forward to. It is, as you mentioned, getting ready for that skill set for young women to learn how to get to work and what they have to do. Talk about the importance of that.
Yeah, Girl Scouts are entrepreneurs during this season. We sell products in the fall as well, but cookie season is that very visible season. And girls get to, learn from each other. They have girls who, if a girl is really good at math, as some of the girls have said, she'll be the one doing the math. They get to decide how they're going to split up the work amongst their troop, and they get to decide how they're going to sell the cookies. And so it's not just entrepreneurial skills in the sense of, they're trying to sell a product and they're trying to earn money for their troop, but also it affects how they interact with each other within their troop. And, we have some girls who are here today who can talk about it, but we also have programs in our council where girls teach other girls who are younger than them how to sell cookies, and they get that leadership experience, and then a girl who's younger than them also gets to learn. So that's definitely something that one of the Girl Scouts here with me today, I'm sure, can tell you all about.
And I can't think of another program out there for young girls to be able to learn all of those skills. How important is it for them to learn how to use those skills, but also how to interact with each other?
It's very, very important, and interaction is not just in between the girls. When you're a kid, sometimes it's hard to get that first experience where you're talking to strangers in a safe environment, where you get to interact with adults. They get to talk to each other and work with each other, but also if a girl is going door to door or has a booth or is taking a sheet to some kind of gathering or group of adults, they get to go and sit on a level playing field with an adult for the first time in their life and get to show what they've got, and they earn the money from selling the cookies, but they also earn this great experience interacting with an adult who is not a family member for one of the first times in their life.
And have you seen the change that happens from when the girls join the Scout program to after they've been doing it a while?
Yeah, girls who are first starting out as Girl Scouts maybe have never gotten a chance before to build on these very adult skills that you don't learn just by being a kid in the world sometimes. And so girls become much more confident. They are excited. They're coming up with more creative ideas because once you overcome the fear of interacting with people for the first time, then you can say, well, I don't have to worry about that. Let's think about what we're going to do next. What's this great idea that we're going to use to sell? So it increases their sort of creativity, and they feel much more comfortable in all of their lives because they have these skills.
So what can our viewers expect this season?
So this year, our cookie season starts on January 6th, so that's when cookies are available through Girl Scouts. And our season where girls are selling in booths won't be open yet, but that doesn't mean they won't be there. They will definitely be there. So if you know Girl Scouts, if you know someone who knows a Girl Scout, definitely get excited because the season is coming very, very soon. And we have a new cookie, as I said a little bit earlier, and this will be the first chance that you can have to get the new cookie.
What is it called and what is in it?
So the cookie is called the Explore More, and it's a Rocky Road sandwich cookie. So it has like an almond cream filling, and it's a chocolate cookie. And we had some Girl Scouts get a first chance to try them, and they had a lot to say about how good they were. So you have all your staple cookies, but you also have this new one that I think people are going to be very happy about.
What is the biggest challenge that you have in getting the word out about Girl Scouts?
So I think that people sometimes don't realize that before girls are on the streets selling their cookies, you can actually find girls selling them starting in January. And that's something that we want to really make sure that people know about because girls are going to be selling them much sooner, I think, than when they actually have the booths. So that's important to know. And I think that the girls do a really good job of getting the word out for themselves, but sometimes I think people don't even realize. And I also think it's challenging because when people often do think about Girl Scouts, they think about cookies and they don't realize actually how much the act of selling the cookies does for the girls. And even girls sell cookies and they can use their cookie profits to do all the great things that they get to do. Like if girls want to go on a trip or have like this really memorable trip with their troop, if they sell a lot of cookies, that gives them extra money to get to go do something like that. So I don't think people realize how much that funds these unique experiences that girls get to have.
Sometimes experiences they wouldn't get to have otherwise.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want our viewers to know about this season as it kicks off?
Well, I already talked about the Explore More, but I'm just gonna say it one more time. Go ahead and find your local Girl Scouts and try a box of Explore Mores because they are really good. And make sure you say hi to girls whenever you see them selling. It's a really important experience for them to get to talk to you as an adult in a safe environment. And, of course, if you see Girl Scouts, you should buy some cookies.
Still ahead on For the Record.
I love Girl Scouts. I've been in Girl Scouts so long.
I speak with some of the Girl Scouts who will be pounding the pavement when Girl Scout cookie season kicks off later this week. Welcome back to For the Record. As I continue my look into the start of the Girl Scout cookie season, I take some questions straight to the girls themselves as they prepare to start taking your orders later this week. So now we get to talk to Kara. I'm so glad you're here. You're 11 and you've already had a lot of experience in business with these Girl Scout cookies. Tell me why you wanted to join the Girl Scouts in the first place.
I wanted to join because I knew it would be a good experience for me, and I was still kind of young when I joined. I was like 5 years old, and I just kind of wanted that experience with being with other people my age because I had just moved to Pennsylvania, and I didn't have many friends, and Girl Scouts was a good way for me to make some newer connections with people that were my age.
So important to make new friendships. And you've also learned some business skills. Tell me about that.
I did learn marketing skills from Girl Scouts and selling cookies. At first I was like nervous when I had to go door to door, but as I kept going door to door, I got better at it, and I learned how to speak in front of people easily, and I learned how to up my confidence and speak loudly.
So what do you say? You knock on a door and then what is your pitch?
My pitch changes every year. It depends on what the year is, what's new. I usually start with, "Hi, I'm Kara. I'm a Girl Scout and I'm selling cookies. Would you like any?"
What do you hear from people when you knock on their door and you tell them that you're the person that's going to hook them up with some Girl Scout cookies?
They usually immediately say yes.
Yeah, that's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah.
Now you guys are taking online orders. Talk about the process of once you get all the orders, whether it's in person or online, what do you do next?
After we get the orders, we have to wait for a while to actually get the cookies. But once we get the cookies, I have to sort them into who has what in people's orders. And it kind of depends whether they're getting them shipped, whether it's someone far away who wants me to deliver in person, or if it's someone across the street.
It's a lot to handle, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely takes some commitment to.
And what would you tell other young ladies out there that might be considering joining?
I say join because it's amazing and it gives you great experiences like being on TV.
I also sat down with two other scouts, Emma Ehrlich and her younger sister, Zoe. Tell me why you think it's so important to be a Girl Scout.
So when I first started, I didn't really have a lot of friends in my community where I was, and just meeting girls through Girl Scouts helped me like socialize a little bit more and gain more friends through that experience. And I feel like a lot of girls have trouble with that, and they will find some lifelong friends through Girl Scouts that you wouldn't have unless you
Join some organization, because how else would you meet all this group of girls,
right.
Zoe, what about you? Have you made a lot of friends?
Yeah, we have about 18 fourth graders in our troop, and I've become friends with every one of them, really good friends and getting to know each other. And we spend a lot of time together and get to know each other better.
It's so important, right? Another important skill, Emma, is the business aspect of selling these cookies. How much have you learned about being an entrepreneur already in your young life?
So when I first started Girl Scouts, cookies were $4 a box, and now they're $6. But I feel like learning to multiply at such a young age helps with your math skills when you get older, since I've been multiplying by 4s and 5s and 6s since I was real little.
It helps you have that experience. And what about selling to people? You go up to a stranger and you try to sell this product. Has your skill on that level improved?
Yes, it gives you more of a better communication skill than anything else. Because when you talk to somebody, you have to like convince them in a way to buy your product. And I feel like if you like hype it up enough, they will be obligated to buy it.
Yeah, it's a lot of responsibility trying to figure out all of those skills. Have you decided what you want to do as a career when you get older?
I want to go into biology.
Wow. How do you think that being a Girl Scout has prepared you for what you want to do in your life?
It gives me like I said, the communication skills to talk to people about things and the teamwork that comes along with selling Girl Scout cookies.
Tell me more about that. What all is involved with the teamwork?
So usually when you're little, you would work on a booth with maybe 4 people, and you would have one person does the cash, another person restocks, another person has a sales pitch, and it's like a really good experience to learn how to work as a team.
What do you think is the most important lesson that you've learned by being a Girl Scout?
We help our community a lot, and when we do that, it's like a sense of like compassion, sort of. And like everybody does something different. Like I have a friend who made a butterfly garden to help with the decrease of monarch butterflies in our community.
Yeah, that's really important. And what about you, Zoe? What is the most important lesson that you've learned?
So sometimes we sometimes do like homeless bags for homeless shelters. Well, we put like socks in there and toothbrushes and like food and bottles of water for homeless shelters, and we get to help people who are in need of stuff. So we give them things that they are in need of, and we get to help our community and honestly make our community better and encourage people to do better things and do good things for the community.
Yeah, that's so important. All right, finally, what would you say to any young women out there that are thinking about joining Scouts?
I love Girl Scouts. I've been in Girl Scouts so long. I've been here forever. And I have made so many long-lasting friendships from this experience, and it's a very great experience for young women.
Still ahead.
Everything that I've done with both of my troops that I lead has been 100% funded by cookie sales.
2 local mothers and troop leaders share their thoughts on the benefits of Girl Scout cookie sales. Welcome back to For the Record. As I learn more about Girl Scout cookie season, I now bring in a pair of moms and troop leaders to tell me more about how the girls benefit from those cookie sales. So now the 2 moms, Jeanette and Christy, are joining us to talk about their experience, but mainly why you want your daughters to participate in this. And so Christy, we'll start with you. Why is it so important for you to see what's happening with your daughter?
Yeah, so both my girls are in Girl Scouts. They've been in Girl Scouts both since they were in kindergarten. I was not a troop leader at first. I was just a troop parent. A couple years in, we made the leap, and now I am a troop mentor. So I help other leaders start their journey and walk them through their first year. It has brought my girls so many experiences that I would have never imagined that they would be doing. You know, we have gone on vacations with our Girl Scout troop. We have gone to DC, to Niagara Falls. We have traveled so much. And there is a network of, you know, parents and leaders that all work together to bring these great experiences to our girls as a team. So I just think that it is an amazing organization, and the girls get so much out of it, and the parents do too.
And Jeanette, what about you? Why was it important that your daughter joined?
Well, we had just recently moved to Pittsburgh from Louisiana, so very new to the area. I knew that she needed to make some connections, and kind of the first thing that came to my mind was Girl Scouts, because I was a Girl Scout as a kid. My mom was my troop leader. My grandmother was in Girl Scouts, so it was kind of a no-brainer. I knew that I wanted her to be in Girl Scouts, and I knew that that was going to be a place for her to develop not just friendships, but also confidence, and to kind of feel like a home base for her, which it really, really has been. And when we went to the recruitment set up to sign up, they said, okay, we've got all these little girls who are in kindergarten and first grade who want to join Girl Scouts, but we need troop leaders. And I didn't think I was going to be a troop leader at that time. I thought I'd volunteer for a couple of years and ease my way in. But when I saw that there was a need for that, I kind of looked at the mom next to me and said, hello, my name is Jeanette. Do you want to be a troop leader with me? And she's now been one of my good friends and one of my main connections over the past several years as we've settled into the area.
Christy, have you seen changes in your daughters as they've developed and grown through the Girl Scout program?
Absolutely, absolutely. They have been more willing to speak up on what they want. It is a girl-led organization, so our girls tell us what they want to do, you know, how much does it cost to get there, and they really go out there and work really hard to bring in those funds in order to do it. Everything that I have done with both of my troops that I lead has been 100% funded by cookie sales that our girls go and earn those funds in order to do it.
Keep it here. I'll have one last look at Girl Scout cookie season right after this. Welcome back to For the Record. With all of the excitement surrounding Girl Scout cookie season, I wanted to break it down for you one last time. Starting in just 2 days, on January 6th, you'll see girls going door to door taking your orders for cookies. Those orders are expected to be delivered sometime in mid-February, and that's when booth sales will begin as well. It's definitely an exciting time of year for those young Girl Scouts. For now, I want to say thank you for joining us. We'll see you next Sunday morning at 11 a.m.